Welcome back. You are still on the Royal Breakfast Show on Crown Television, and right up now we're getting to shift the conversation, obviously, in the world of elections, but just getting to find out how it is going with, young people's participation. Sitting across from me is a young leader who is actually making waves in the civic space. Keagan Mulundu is a prominent youth activist, and he joins us in studio today to just get to discuss the participation of young people in the upcoming August 10th elections. Keagan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
And also, before we just get into it, please be advised that Mr. Keagan is also an Argentinian supporter. Yeah. There's a specific person that this is directed at.
Okay.
Mr. Kozi.
And I know that they can actually get to pick it. I mean, it's going to go like that until we are off this particular place. But once more, thank you so much, Keagan, for coming through. I know that you are supporting Argentina for one specific reason.
That's why he's wearing blue as well.
Yeah, because you think that you feel, just like a lot of people do, that Messi still remains the GOAT and he has the final say.
Indeed. So I think even the World Cup, we are getting again.
Would you be surprised, though, if they never got it?
Of course, football, anything is possible, but we are very much hopeful and confident that we are still getting it.
Don't you think the term "it's coming home" should belong to Argentina as opposed to England?
Yeah, of course, it should be. In fact, it's Argentina all the way. Because Messi has the final say when it comes to football.
Interesting. But now, Keagan, let's jump straight into it. Over 50% of registered voters in the ECZ voter register are young people under the age of 35 years. Yet, there is a historical worry about voter apathy among young people, or worse, where youth most of the time is being used as tools for political violence. You are a young person. What is different this time around in 2026?
I think what I can say is looking at the history and the numbers, of course, the voter turnout among the young people has not been that good. Though at least in 2021, the statistics there shows a bit different because we saw most young people going to vote in numbers. But I think we can only hope that this time, 2026, I think we can be able to do, in fact, better than even what we did in 2021.
Speaking of 2021, though, we know that majority of the votes came from the youth because they wanted to see some sort of change. And it was because of their votes, that is how they got themselves actively involved in politics, but not directly active in the sense of making decisions and, in that likeness. So why do you think that it's important that now youths need to be actively involved in politics, aside from the fact that they vote in, obviously, but the other side of politics?
Okay, so I think I feel that it's very much important because for the fact that, in anything that you do, even we are talking about football here, I think there must be continued.
Exactly.
When we talk of the Messi of today, they may not be there tomorrow. But then what remains of football? So this is why we must be able to see also some new blood of footballers coming in. So even in the world of politics, it must be the same. Because the leaders we have today may not be able to be there tomorrow. So then who takes over? So if the young people stay aloof from politics, actively participating, seeing how things are done, seeing how, policies are made, it is going to be hard for the government or for continuity of government. So it is therefore important that young people do not just end on the ballot, in as much as it is very much important that we participate in the casting our votes. We also need to be actively involved in the learning of the affairs.
And also, just in the same vein, do you feel like people or young people are getting into politics for the wrong reasons? Because we do know that it can be a bit lucrative. But do you think that that's one of the reasons why they actually find themselves getting into active politics?
Well, I think it's a balanced thing that I can say. For some, yes, it's for wrong reasons because they are trying to find an easiest way to get rich. Because somehow politics has been made to look like it's a fastest way to get rich. So for some people, I think they go there in for different reasons. For others, I want to get rich fast. And there are also those who have just the passion for service, because I believe leadership is about service. And this is why even Jesus Christ said, the greatest among you shall be the servant of you all. So one who aspires to be a leader must be the servant of all. But it is not the case with every leader. So this is why sometimes we also have challenges in the direction that I know the nation takes, because at some point or in one or the other, we get to find that people who are in leadership are there for wrong reasons, which is the unfortunate thing. And I think what is supposed to be done is that the people who aspire to go in leadership, let them be able to understand the responsibility that lies, ahead of them, the duties, the things that they are supposed to do, and how much of service they are supposed to be to the people that they want to lead.
Now, there's pretty much quite a section of young people that intentionally just get to distance themselves, from the electoral process, from voting, for example, whatever the reasons that may be. But what are some of the long-term consequences that that come with the decision by young people to completely stay away from, such democratic processes, like the election, for instance?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question. It's very much, worrying to see when young people choose to completely stay away even from casting their votes, because at the end of the day, a time like this one is a most important time in the history of our nation, because what we are going to do is going to determine the direction of our nation in the next 5 years. So now, when that is the case, we look at what is it that is at stake. It's the future of this country. And when we talk of the future of this country, it may not just be the next 5 years, because sometimes the mistakes that our leaders make, they may not just affect us in the 5 years. Maybe the impact can be felt even later on after that period. So maybe even right now as we are living, maybe we might be living as a product of some decisions that we made, could be 5 years ago, or maybe some 10 years ago, depending on the impact of such decisions that were made at that particular time. So when we understand what is at stake, this is supposed to be something that moves each and every youth to feel that since I have got the responsibility to build or to be part of the building of this nation, then I just need to be part of the voters. I just need to let my voice speak and to let my voice count. Because choosing not to vote is also a decision. But now, one thing that we really have to understand is that whether you vote or you don't vote, there will be a government at the end of the day that will be elected. So those that are going to vote, those that are going to make the decision, they are going to decide on your behalf. And when that government is in place, it doesn't matter whether you voted or not, their decisions will be able to affect the kind of environment that you are going to live in. It is going to affect the education, the fuel, the taxes, and everything. So this is why when you understand it, to say whether you participate or not, a government will be in place. So meaning when you don't participate, you are trying to transfer that responsibility to other people to decide for you. But then why should you allow people to decide the kind of future that you want for us to have as a nation? Because at the end of the day, you look at also your personal dreams. Where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to buy your dream car? Do you want to buy your dream home? But then in what environment do you want to achieve that such a dream? So this is why now it must be able to lean in each and every mind of a youth to say, I think it is my responsibility. Let me choose the leaders that I feel that are going to be best for this nation.
And speaking of responsibilities, we do know that each party is supposed to have a manifesto, and they're also supposed to sort of give people a roadmap as to how they're going to arrive to that same campaign promise that they're given. But how do you think that the youth can evaluate manifestos and also sort of try and understand the policies as well as the leadership plans before they actually cast their vote? Because we do understand that right now emotions are high, tensions are high, and people are not voting with a clear conscience. They're voting with anger as opposed to voting with logic.
Okay, that's a very good one also. I understand, like you've mentioned, in election campaigns time, usually emotions are high, either for anger, sometimes just for excitement, because usually when politicians come, they come with, rallies, there's entertainment, there are slogans being, given out. And so sometimes we tend to forget even how necessary or how important this activity is, because we are moved in by emotions or by excitement, something like that. But unfortunately, in fact, the best thing that should be done, especially to the young people out there, is we need to scrutinize our candidates or our prospective leaders based on their manifestos and their policies. And this is also very much unfortunate that these manifestos, like, politicians manage to distribute regalia, but manifestos really, they are not distributed as in maybe a hard copy. They say, okay, please go and read through our plan. No. They will distribute the portraits of the candidates and what, but the plan itself is not widely circulated. Of course, they will say we have this manifesto, but even maybe sometimes even access to it sometimes becomes a challenge, which I think that also going forward, I think also politicians have to do better there in making sure that the voters makes informed decisions, not just out of emotions, not just out of excitement, but they should be able to understand why should we vote for this person, and that person should be able to give us the reasons as to why, not just shouting no continuity or not just shouting no change. There must be a reason why we should continue. There must be a reason why there should be change.
Coupled with what you've mentioned, obviously, the need for young people to vote with an informed mind or to make informed decisions on that particular day. Many times, obviously, you and I are going to attest to the fact that when it is politically heated like this, it is us, the young people, that are mostly, in the battlefronts of getting to perpetrate political violence, being used as tools of political violence by these political parties. What would be your message to the young people in just getting to encourage them the importance of unity during this period and even post-elections, and how this has got, a projection on the future of democracy after everything else or after the dust has settled?
Okay, thank you so much. That's also a very good point. As a matter of fact, I'll start with emphasizing some point that has been said by many. So when it comes to political violence, I think that is the worst that we can do as a nation, because in the end, it is not helping us to develop, but it is actually robbing us of the needed, human resource. Every life that has been lost, every life that has been, murdered due to political violence, that life cannot be, replaced. That's a great loss to our nation. And when we understand the circumstances under which such things happen, surely just for you to be able to maybe attain political power or to be able to keep political power, should lives be lost, that is an unfortunate thing. So when we understand that, then we should also be able to somehow squarely put the blame both on politicians as well as on the youths themselves. Because on politicians, really, it's unfortunate that when it's this time, most politicians come to the youths, they will, gather them in numbers and, tell them, let's do this, let's do that. And in most cases, those who do that, they don't do that to their own children. They will just go to other people's children, so to say, the youths who make themselves available. And maybe it's because of maybe the living environments, maybe it's because of they are promised something in the end, so they tend to also, no, let's go, whatever we get, we get. But then when you look at that, that also comes to, when politicians do that, they are trying to misunderstand, or they are not trying to put in mind the potential that these young people have. So when you look at young people as only tools of violence and not partners in development, that becomes a very unfortunate thing. So for politicians, I think our plea should be that when you look at young people, do not look at them as tools of violence, but look at them as partners in development. There's a lot of potential that these young people have, and maybe it's just because you haven't taken time to dig out or to see what is it that we can be able to get from them. A lot of innovation, a lot of creativity is actually there in these young people. And to the young people out there, you also must be able to put in mind that for a politician who looks at you as a tool of violence, to some extent is somehow degrading you, to say the only thing that you can be able to do is maybe to use your power or to, become violent. But how about you look at things differently? Because for the fact that somebody or your friend has got a different view of looking at things does not necessarily mean that they are wrong. It's just maybe the perspective where they are from. So the most important thing is to be able to understand that in a democracy, it's very much healthy and good to disagree. Because at the end of the day, we cannot have all the same choices. In as much as we can, encourage that, let's scrutinize, maybe the way we are going to scrutinize is also going to be different. Maybe for me, I want somebody who's, basic, maybe first priority is the economy. Somebody will say, no, for me, I want somebody whose basic priority is maybe infrastructure, or maybe it's different. So the fact that I want somebody does not make me bad or better, but we all have different views and the way we look at things.
Just going back, sorry.
I just want to make this, my personal comment. In high school, we used to be told that, there's no wrong answer. If anybody gets to, it's just maybe how they are getting to understand the question and having perspective. Like you mentioned, obviously, the fact that somebody disagrees with you, it is not maybe that they're wrong. It's how they are looking at that particular thing. So there's no need really to be clashing.
Yeah, it's like a paradigm shift, actually. But speaking of the part where you mentioned partnerships and how the youth should actually work at working with, various stakeholders as a side, or as opposed to just being an observer, how do you think you can sort of shift that paradigm shift or that mindset of a youth where they see themselves as a passive observer as opposed to being an active partner in shaping Zambia's future?
Okay. So I think the start on that one starts from the mindset, like you've mentioned, because in most cases, for people who have gone, I'll give you an example, people who have gone outside the country, maybe you're in another people's country, they will testify to say, just the feeling of you being there, it makes you somehow feel like you are not welcome. Just they look at you, like, even when people are maybe that's just the way they look. But now for you mistake that to say maybe it's because I'm a foreigner, that's the reason why the people are looking at me like this. But then when we understand now, when you are back home, you feel to say this is home. Even just the feeling itself, just the environment and what is that feeling. So where you have that sense of belongingness. So I think the start towards achieving that starts with, first of all, youths really feeling that sense of belongingness. Because maybe they feel out of place. These things are just for a certain particular group of people, and maybe to some extent also politics has not done as good. I think, like I mentioned last time here on this platform, there is too much politics. I'm looking forward to a Zambia where we can have a period of campaigns like this one, where people can be able to compete in policies, in ideas, discuss, and give reasons for why they believe in what they believe in, disagree, go to the polls, the elections results are announced, one emerges a winner, and then the country comes back to uniting under one purpose of building the Zambia that we want. So when we unite in that way, then now we say, okay, let's just get to work. So it doesn't matter whether during campaigns you were this party or you were that party, but let us just say, come together and unite. Because even for empowerments, for example, that the government lands, you'll find that there are some youths, maybe for political affiliation, they say, no, that one is just for cadres of such a political party. As a result, they tend maybe to stay back instead of actively participating. So if such a time can come, I think that is going to be a very good time for Zambia, because it is only at that time when we can develop as a nation. But as long as we continue to have these boundaries, this one political party, this one political party, that one, it is going to be hard, because there will always be people that will be not feeling part of that sense of belongingness.
Your concluding remarks.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, by the way, to have me here. I think this discussion forms part of my wider initiative of the Wise Voter campaign. In this campaign, I'm trying to advocate to make sure that as we go to the votes, we make informed decisions, not just decisions based on instant gratification, because we've been given a regalia, you've been given something. As a matter of fact, I want the voters to understand, to say, in fact, when a political party gives you a regalia, it's not like they are doing you a favor. You are the one doing them a favor, because by you wearing that regalia, in some way or the other, you are marketing them. So when they give you the regalia, that should not be the end of your political decision or your end of your, this constitutional right that you have to vote. But make sure that you dig deeper. Make sure that you go and look at their manifesto, look at what is it that they intend to do, what is their vision, and how do they want us to proceed going forward. And when we do that, then we are going to be We are going to make informed decisions. And the Zambia that we want, we are going to build it to the level that we want to go. And wherever we want ourselves to go, we shall surely get there through our choices that we make on the 13th of August. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for making an appearance on today's Royal Breakfast Show, Keagan, and we wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much.
We're looking forward to having you again, obviously, on other future discussions. That is Keagan Mulundu, the youth activist, just getting to let us in on the importance of young people's participation in these electoral processes, especially that the country is getting ready for that big day on the 13th of August 2026, when all of us will be exercising our democratic right of voting. We go on another break when we come.